Hello, I'm Wendy Lewis, the founder and creator of AllySHIFT. Welcome to Wendy Wednesdays. We created Wendy Wednesdays quite a while ago, but we have not had Wendy Wednesdays in quite a while. So I'm here to tell you it's back. Also, I want to give you some updates on what has happened within the AllySHIFT model. We've made some changes. We have shifted. And we have shifted for the times that we are in. In the book of Esther, the most famous story is this pivotal moment. And from that moment comes the message, for such a time as this. So for such a time as this, Wendy Wednesdays will be back. In AllySHIFT episodes going forward, we'll make sure that everyone is aware that the AllySHIFT model now and going forward will be very, very much invested in our faith. So we move from more of a social corporate model to a matter of our belief systems. As a matter of fact, just 3 months ago in this very church, we presented AllySHIFT episode 3. And the day was filled with people communing and communicating, and what we hope was finding some connectivity, some love, some support, some friendship, and some fun. So all that is built into the work that we do. So first of all, let's go back to the basics. Let's review how we define being an ally, and then talk about what is AllySHIFT. The working definition I like is, an ally is one who is a helper and provides assistance and support in an ongoing effort through activity for the struggle. AllySHIFT is a social leadership model based on a range of behaviors that promote and advance being an ally in a bigger, better, and bolder way in order to sustain the effort. So know this, it's all about ally sustainability. Not long ago, finding an ally or being an ally was a great thing, and it seems to be a lot of folks bought into the ideology behind that. But over the course of time, being an ally started to mean and represent very, very different things, to the point you couldn't determine if you wanted to be an ally or not, or if you were permitted to be an ally or not. So let's refocus on the AllySHIFT. So the model itself is based on a collection of behaviors, 8 in total. The first one is the denier. I like to think of the denier as one who refuses to accept the reality as it is, not as they like it to be. And so we have people who, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what is seen or known, they refuse to accept what the circumstances are, and they stay in that position. And at best, you will just slightly convince them that things happen, even though they may have seen them another way. A phrase that has become very popular is, don't believe your lying eyes. Think about that in being a denier. Next, the bystander. The bystander is one who does see. They look, and they determine to not touch. They fall upon that belief that that's not my fight, that's not about me. Let's be reminded of a famous quote from Angela Davis. If they come for me in the morning, they'll come for you at night. Think about that, bystander. The upstander. Gotta love this one. The upstanders is where we get heroes, that on a given day, we can all be a hero. The upstander is embroiled in a situation and they just choose to act. Maybe it's not something they would normally do, and they don't think maybe twice about the consequence of doing it. But they just dive in and they help and they provide hope. The mentor. The mentor is that intentional leaning in to listen better and create and have and support relationship. The sponsor. The sponsors sometimes are loud and sometimes they're quiet, but they make that personal investment towards people, places, and things for a particular cause. There's the scholar. That's one of my favorites, and I'll explain later why. But the scholar seeks, pursues education and knowledge because they want to know better so they can be better and do better. The advocate. Advocates color inside and outside the lines. They do what they need to do to get results. And lastly, and definitely not least, the activist. Unfortunately, activists gives folks sometimes a scary vibe about what am I being asked to do? What's the calling around that? But I'd like you to consider the activist being that strategist, the one who really gives thought to execution for transformation. And just like we mentioned with the denier, there's a place in time that all of us are also activists. But it's how we carry out those executions and those transformations that are distinctly unique to who we are and the purposes that we serve. So please, as a scholar, learn more about the AllySHIFT model. I invite you to take a look at our website, www.theallyshift.com, to learn more.